Replacements, I'm not really sure, but a lot of rejection. My agents called me and said, hey, I'm so sorry that they were really liked you, but they went another direction. So I took a flight home heartbroken. Have I thought about giving up? I think only during my early stages when COVID hit and there was no work at all and we didn't know what the world is coming to. And I've dealt with my fair share of insecurity in my life, but I've dealt with other people's insecurities with me on sets as well. And you kind of just learn how to just let that exist within themselves and to not let it affect you. There has been a movie that I wanted to do, and they eventually gave it to someone who was son, daughter, nephew of someone. 3 years later, someone's watching this interview.
Yeah.
And Mismatched season 4 is out.
Okay.
And the roles are not as expected. Then it's like, Vihaan ne to bola ki main aa raha hu.
True.
On the other hand, if I'm the centerpiece of season 4, then it's like, oh, Vihaan didn't know what was coming. So I'll just keep quiet. It's unfortunate because I wish the entire show could be praised, because then, you know, when people associate me and the show and everything together, they're like, okay, this is great cinema. I hope that whatever criticism it did receive, we're all able to take it with with an open mind and give a better season.
Talent, versatility, and some real good performances are the first few things that come to my mind when I introduce my guest for the day. With back-to-back incredible roles, Vihaan Samat joins me only on the fresh new episode of The Next Big Thing, only on the FPJ Show Biz. Hi Vihaan, how have you been?
I've been great. Thank you for that introduction.
You're most welcome.
It's very kind of you.
Thank you. You know, this show is all about appreciating talent. And congratulations. You come across as somebody who is, you know, in his performances is very versatile. Now, I don't know if that's a conscious choice you've been making in your career or that's just happening for you. But whatever it is, you're doing good.
Thank you. No, yes, it is a conscious choice.
Okay.
And I'm glad that people are being able to pick up on that. That's my goal as an actor, to be able to like make you feel different things and for you to identify with different characters. So I'm glad.
You're welcome. You know, I want to understand how all this started. Was it like a childhood thing that you saw the TV and you said, I also want to be an actor?
Yeah, it was a mix of things. I think obviously you grow up in Mumbai where there's a lot of the industry around. So I think I remember, you know, I obviously have seen the things with my family sitting down at dinner. I've seen KBC and Fear Factor and Big Boss and all that stuff. And so obviously that fascination from a very young age was there. I remember this one time I was in school, and in school you usually have things for Nana Nani, Dada Dadi Day, and, you know, Grandparents Day, and you have something of you're playing CV Raman or you're playing Arya Bhatt or something. And in those performances, usually it's very like, chalo kaam karte hain, हमें कुछ करना है for the Dadu and Dadis. Usme, I was lucky that in 4th standard there was this teacher who, in her play, she made us enter the audience on roller skates.
Oh.
So I thought it was very creative.
Yeah.
I was like, how can you do that? But she got all of us on roller skates and we went through the audience and we got on stage, then we started performing. So for me, that was a very like immersive sort of experience, and it was a very new way of looking at performance. And I remember being on stage and feeling very free because there were no rules. And I had all this attention and I could do whatever I wanted with it.
Yeah.
That fascinated me. I think in a school and in a life back then, early 2000s, still schools were strict कि belt पहनो, nails काटो, बाल ऐसे होने चाहिए. And then you would get hit sometimes if you weren't right, and there was a lot of stress of studying even in 4th and 5th standard.
True.
So I think theatre was a break from that.
Okay.
So that experience really, I think, hit something deep in me. And then my mom always practiced elocution competitions and all with me. But it's not until I think I went to college that I felt like I can do this, because there is something very deep that acting taps into, which is not spoken about by a lot of people.
When you come from a, correct me if I'm wrong, but you come from a family that's not associated with films as such, right?
Yeah, not really.
So, what was their reaction like? Because it can be a very daunting space as somebody who is not from the filmy background. Like, my parents always said, when I said I want to be a film journalist, they were like, okay, go, but is it something that's safe and all of that? I was like, yeah, chill, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean it was the same reaction from my family. I think my grandparents were like gandi line, and I was like, okay, no, it's different. It depends on who you work with.
Yeah.
My parents were much more understanding. The thing is, my father always said that if you're gonna do something, make sure you give it your 100%.
Correct.
And my mother, she used to go for Vedanta classes, and even though she was very intent on making me successful, surprisingly with this, her thought was, you can't force a person to do something they don't want to do, and you can't force them to love something else apart from what they love. So I was very lucky that my parents encouraged me, but there
Yeah.
was a fair bit of uh, fear from them कि पता नहीं पैसे कैसे कमाएगा, um, are you sure you want to do this? They made me get a economics minor in my degree as well. So all
Acha.
that I had to do. I had to make some people feel
Yeah.
safe. But yeah, I have a degree in theatre.
Lovely. When you started off, of course, I'm sure things don't always come easy. When you were going through the process of, turning into an actor and you were trying your best to do that, were there phases of rejections or replacements that you had to go through to reach there?
Yeah, 100%. Replacements, I'm not really sure, but a lot of rejection. I remember because I started auditioning in 2018. And in 2019, I think I was in the US, and there was this first project on HBO called Mrs. Fletcher.
Okay.
And I remember I auditioned for that, and I got to the callbacks, and it was dead of winter in New York, snow everywhere. I needed something because all my friends had graduated from colleges and I had started working.
Acha.
And they had these lovely packages,
Yeah.
and a company gave them, a home and stuff. And I still was struggling to pay rent in New York, and I was taking a flight back to Bombay. And if that audition came in, then I'd have to extend my flight and change all that. So I was waiting for a call so I waited for 2 days. My flight was on the third day. On the third day, I got a call from my agent saying, and I thought I was going to get it because the casting director took my information. He said, who are you? Where have you come from? I'm like, amazing.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
done.
this is my big break on
Yeah.
HBO. I love HBO. And then my agents called me and said, hey, I'm so sorry that they were really, really liked you, but they went another direction. So I took a flight home heartbroken. But that's okay because I had more opportunities.
Yeah.
I made connections. I came back to Bombay. Even when I came back to Mumbai, I think there was a lot of auditions that I was giving that didn't hit. And then luckily, Mismatched came in very early. I think even now, there's a lot of stuff that I mean, most of the stuff I do, I audition for. I have no ego about that.
Of course.
And I will audition until the rest of my life if I have to. Because at every point, if you want to take it to the next step, you have to prove to someone else that you can do it.
Absolutely.
I can't assume that people know who I am and
Yeah.
just take me like that, So rejection all the time. I mean, I even did the rounds of Aram Nagar when I came back. I was like, okay, where do auditions happen? So I
Yeah.
went to Aram Nagar, and God, that place is it's just a mix of energies and emotions
Yeah,
because
yeah.
every like you walk 5 steps and there's a gym. Then you walk 5 steps, there's a nail salon. Then you walk 5 steps, there's a casting office. Then you walk 5 steps, there's a very successful production office. So, but I had full. I faked it. I had full this thing. I didn't have any shame. I'd walk in. I'd say, कि हमारा audition है, चलो चलो चलो, and they'd say, okay, what have you done? I say nothing, but I'll be very good. So, Aram Nagar was also a phase.
Yeah.
Very interesting phase.
You spoke about connections and building some when you got back to Bombay. Today, I have often heard that, Bollywood is all about how good your connections really are. I don't know. I don't really feel that way. I feel if you have, it's a mixture of a lot of things, and talent plays a very big part in that. I feel even if you have connections, but you are talentless, you'll get one, two, three opportunities, but after that, the audiences will not accept you. What is your point of view on that?
Yeah, I think it's true because at the end of the day, if people aren't watching you
Yeah.
and liking you, then producers take a hit.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, producers are investing money
True.
to, you know,
Make money.
make money and make something worthwhile.
Yeah.
So why will they take someone who is not preferred by the audiences? So I think it's natural. Does that mean in the short term they won't be famous and they won't get money? Probably not. Uh, that's possible, but long term, you look at 10, 20 years, it's very difficult for a person who's not accepted by the audiences to make something. I mean, unless he's funding himself, which is a separate discussion,
No,
or
that's
herself.
true. Yeah. Of course, the showbiz is a very competitive field as well. And I've so often heard that actors are insecure and they are very competitive. I feel it's a great thing to be a little insecure and competitive, because it only makes you better. But not in like a negative way where you try cutting your co-actors' parts and all of that. Not that insecurity. But have you ever on a set dealt with such kind of negative insecurity and you were like, I can't deal with this?
Not to the extent of cutting parts. I think that's a bit intense. Uh, but I think, look, I think every human being to a certain extent is insecure.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with my fair share of insecurity in my life, but I've dealt with other people's insecurities with me on sets as well. And you kind of just learn how to uh, just let that exist within themselves and to not let it affect you and take on your thing. So if that's ever happened, I think I've just kind of moved on with my performance, done even better,
Yeah.
let it fizzle out and take its time and just move on. Because the more you feed into that, the more you give energy to that, the bigger it gets.
You have, of course, worked with younger actors your age, like Ananya, Rohit, Prajakta, all of them, now Ishan. How is the energy on set? Because, as I mentioned, when you are all comparatively newer in the industry, trying to make a mark for yourself, there could be maybe sometimes phases where you get a bit insecure, because I feel that you are talented, your co-stars are also talented, but I've also heard that when you feed off each other's energy, your performance just gets better.
Yeah, all the time. I think Mismatched particularly because we were all new
Yeah.
and we were all kids, late teens, early
Yeah.
20s. We kind of just came to shoot this show that we didn't know how it's going to
Yeah.
do. And I don't think anyone expected it to be such a big hit. So I think we were just happy to be there. We didn't have vans. We kept all our belongings in a room and locked it.
Acha, okay.
We would hang out after shoot
Yeah.
in each other's hotel rooms and we just like chill and talk and share secrets and stuff. So I think we were all very tightly bound. So there was a lot of lifting each other up
Yeah.
on that one. I think from the entire cast, right from Prajakta and Rohit to everyone like Tarok, Abhinav, Kritika, Muskan, Vihaan, all of them. Um, I think Ranvijay sir was like the best. Like
Yeah.
he saw a bunch of new kids and he's like, these are mine.
Yeah.
I will
He mentored you
uplift
guys.
all.
Yeah.
He mentored all of us and Vidya ma'am and Akarsh and Adhar, our directors. It was a good time. I think that it was like as someone said that you've really spoiled yourself with this production because not all of us are that nice.
True.
And touch wood, then I went to the next one, which is Eternally Confused, and people were nicer.
Lovely.
And from then it's just been a bunch of nice people. So I don't want to break the streak of nice
Oh,
people.
good. When Mismatched happened for you, of course, you just said that you guys had no idea what it's gonna become. Do you think after that, a lot of casting directors, a lot of filmmakers took notice and saw you in a different light altogether?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have seen Mismatched.
Yeah.
It's very popular. I think it was inevitable that
True.
in rooms, in meetings, in pitching, that people would say like, "Hey, what about Vihaan?" I think that was a blessing for
Yeah.
me. In terms of seeing me in a different light, I think it was the first light that people saw me in.
Yeah.
So then my work then began to take this thing of I need to prove to casting that I'm not actually from America. Because I think they saw the show and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, tu kahan se hai?" And I'm
हाँ.
like, "I'm from Mumbai." And he's like, "हाँ, लेकिन America se kahan?" And I was like, "No, Mumbai, India." So I had to do that work to then be seen in a different light.
Yeah. Wow. But when of course, you're working back to back and there are so many projects coming in your way. I remember when Call Me Bay happened, there were such pleasant reviews about you. Now the Royals happened similar way. Even though the show did receive a little bit of flack here and there, but I feel reviews, particularly for you, for Ishan, they've all been good. But how do you feel and how do you take this as when your character, your role is praised, but the show is not as praised once you're done with it?
It's unfortunate because I wish the entire show could be praised because then, when people associate me and the show and everything together, they're like, okay, this is great cinema. And it has been very impactful in a positive way for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I know what your question is, and I think you try to take the positives from it and you move forward and you kind of hopefully believe in yourself more the next time because like at least with your character you know what you're doing. I hope that whatever criticism it did receive, we're all able to take it with with an open mind and
Yeah.
and give a better season 2 because it has been very successful.
Mm.
And I wonder whether the things that were good about it and criticized about it in a combination are the things that made it successful.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you change those two things, will it still be as successful as it is?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say what needs to be changed, but I have my opinions, as do a billion other people. So let's see whose opinions really
Yeah.
matter.
I think a lot of people went and watched that show because there were so many discussions online. And did you get a chance to watch so many reels of you and Ishan and just people saying we need men like them and they are like green forest and all of that?
Yeah, I saw those. They keep they keep routinely popping up on my feed,
Yeah.
and I like that because I'm suddenly like, I've woken up, I'm having breakfast, I'm
Yeah.
like half asleep, and suddenly I see myself, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And they put those little like bow
Yeah,
things on,
yeah,
and
bows. That's the new trend.
and they put like Pookie and all that, and I'm just like,
Wow.
it's
But
lovely.
how was the energy on this one? Because, of course, we had some incredible actors. We had Zeenat ma'am and we had so many other people on it. And I told you this before the interview that you and Ishan actually looked like brothers in it. And it was also like a very well bonded energy that you two shared that we could feel even through the screen.
So you're asking about the actors?
Yeah.
I thank you. I think uh, the cast itself was one of the reasons I thought that the show is next level because I remember when I signed the show, it had Zeenat Ji on board, and I said I have to work with her. That was one of the major reasons I signed it actually.
Wow.
Working with her was a dream because
Yeah.
she's a multi-generational
Yeah,
star,
yeah,
right? So what do you
absolutely.
even say?
Of course.
You are so nervous. I think we all of us younger actors, me, Ishan, Kavya, everyone, I think we just lived to impress her. So whenever she was there in the scene, I just wanted to make sure she says I'm a great actor.
Yeah.
But she was very kind with compliments and she showered them on all of us and she was very sweet. And even Sakshi ji,
Yeah.
she was so like present and just like the grounding force the three of us siblings needed because we were very chaotic.
Yeah.
We'd come to set, we start joking around. Suddenly the director's like, chalo shoot karne ki nahi? And I'm like, हाँ shoot karna. And then they were already there sitting, rehearsing their lines. So it gave us that grounding energy we needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, this cast is pretty intense. I don't know if there's been a bigger cast than this on
Yeah.
Netflix. Has there been?
I don't think so. Not really.
I can't remember.
Yeah, even I
Maybe I'm
can't.
wrong.
In the recent past, definitely not, because when the cast was announced, we were all so excited. We were like, wow, so many incredibly talented people in one frame. We can't wait to see that. But now of course, Mismatched new season has also been announced. That's such an exciting news for me also personally, because I love that show so much. And I think it was the beginning of that OTT era that we're so obsessed with right now. And when it came out, you're correct. Nobody actually, even we didn't expect it to become what it became. And people, I'm sure people DM you all the time, ki kabhi aa raha hai, kya ho raha hai, and all of that for updates. So how excited are you for that?
I'm very excited. We have no information yet on, because it's been announced.
Yeah. But it's still in the scripting process, I
all
feel.
that. So we'll have to see what it is, where it goes, what my involvement is, because these calls are up to Netflix.
Correct.
So yeah,
Fingers
fingers
crossed. No, you have to be in it.
I think I have to be in it, but
of
now
course.
it's not my decision what to say.
But I feel there's so much love for each character. It would be silly to drop any one of them. But yeah, let's see. We'll fingers crossed. We'll wait and watch.
I don't want to say anything, because then if 3 years later someone's watching this interview, and Mismatched season 4 is out,
okay,
and the roles are not as expected, then it's like Vihaan ne to bola ki main aa raha
हाँ, true.
On the other hand, if I'm the centerpiece of season 4, then it's like, oh, Vihaan didn't know what was coming. So I'll just keep quiet, and then we'll see what happens.
We'll wait and watch. True. But of course, Vihaan, you have had your own share of experiences in the industry, and there's this one word that's associated with showbiz and with Bollywood so much, which is politics. That a lot of politics happen. You have to deal with a lot of, maybe negative things on set. Sometimes it could be for multiple reasons. Was there ever a phase in your career, in your journey in the showbiz, where you felt like maybe this is not for me, or maybe I want to give up and not do this anymore?
There is politics, depending on how you define that word, but I think there's also politics in every single business, right? I'm sure there's politics in journalism.
True, a lot of it.
Right from the editor to all the way down. I think in every field there's politics, and it's about navigating human relationships. So in the same way, because we deal with humans in acting, and we don't deal with spreadsheets as much, producers do. I think it's natural to feel that politics is the overriding thing, but the fact is it's like any other business, and you have to navigate that, and you have to be okay with it. Now, for people who say that we don't play politics, it's like, because you keep those interactions clean. But that doesn't mean that at some point or the other there's been something that has happened.
True.
Anyway, so have I thought about giving up? I think only during my early stages, when COVID hit, and there was no work at all, and we didn't know what the world is coming to, and I had only shot Mismatched season 1, and I still felt like, I need to work, and there's no work, and what was happening. So I think that there was a bit of panic there.
The show had not released?
The show had released.
Okay.
The show had released. But I don't know if we knew if season 2 was happening or not. And there was not much of what we knew. No, actually, no, wait. This was before Mismatched released.
Yeah, because I feel once the show released, I'm sure you must have had meetings and all.
I think, no. Sorry, my bad. Because so long ago.
Yeah, it's hazy. COVID area is like hazy COVID phase.
I think there was a moment there.
Yeah.
When maybe I had shot the show but it hadn't released, and I didn't know what was happening. And I just felt like I don't understand, the business. And then very quickly after that, I said, but then what will I do? And I said, I don't know. I don't really like anything else. So he said, okay, so would you rather live your life doing something you don't like, or do something you like? And no matter what it gives you, at least you're doing something you like.
True, that is true.
So then that was very quickly shot down, that idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had 1 or 2 moments of panic, but more or less it's been like, this is my calling. I need to figure this out.
No, fair enough, because I think we've all I don't think anyone in this world has had a life where they have not felt like doubting their decisions in terms of their careers. I think we all go through that once at least. Very lucky people don't go through it that at all. And I feel in the artistic field, we're all very passionate. So I don't think we will ever take the back seat. That's
Yeah.
true. But that being said, there are so many debates about insider, outsider, nepotism, and all of that that's going on. As an actor who is truly appreciated for the work that he does, if you go and read reviews, I don't know if you do that. I do that
Yeah,
before
I do.
interviewing somebody. I go and read reviews about their performances, and I have myself reviewed Mismatched. So I know for a matter of fact that we've all sort of supported you, and because you are actually a good actor.
Thanks.
When that happens, but there are also missed opportunities, maybe because of XYZ reason. And I keep hearing this so much that just recently I heard Siddharth Nigam is an actor. He lost a movie to a star kid, and all of that happened, and they named the star kid. When I hear these things, these are also a little painful, because then you think that why do people have to go through it just because they don't have a big surname? Has that ever happened to you, and what's your take on this?
Has it ever happened to me? I wouldn't know
Okay.
necessarily. There has been a movie that I wanted to do, and they eventually gave it to someone who was son, daughter, nephew of someone.
Okay.
And because that person, who was the father, mother, uncle, aunt, whatever, was funding the film, that's why they went that way. So, I mean, really, can you blame them, because they are literally spending money on a movie? So the movie probably wouldn't be made if they didn't have a reason to spend that money. So I'm sure there's been a couple of instances that have happened. You kind of just learn how to ignore that and move on.
But did it hurt when that happened?
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing. But I'll tell you what, if I worked so hard in my life today, I've worked for about 6 years now. I want to work for another 36, 46, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to work till I'm 70. What will I do with the combined efforts of my life till I'm 70? What will I do with it, I would like to change other people's lives with it. And the most natural thing to do is to change the life of your own family.
Yeah.
So I think any of us, if we're parents, we'd want to give our children the best possible future. So
True.
I think that's what's happening in terms of the way people are funding things, or maybe people are casting things. Now, does that mean that people who might be more naturally suited or naturally fit the background of the role miss out on that role? Yes. Right? Is that disappointing? Yeah, it is disappointing. But it's like saying, is life disappointing? Yeah, it is
Yeah, it is
disappointing. But are you going
disappointing.
to go and say that life is unfair, change it? No, I mean, you do your best, and hopefully your efforts will be rewarded in due course.
True.
I think for people who are outsiders, the journey is a bit longer, and the journey can be more complicated, and the path is not usually visible.
Yeah.
But it's a fruitful journey nonetheless, and we'll get there sooner rather than later.
I do know that everyone has struggles, and a lot has been spoken about that. But I'm a very optimistic person. I feel there's a silver lining in everything. When we talk about people who are not from a filmy background and they are trying to make it big, and some of them have made it big, I'm sure you have made a great space for yourself, and you'll only do better work in the future. I think it teaches you a lot more. Like, I feel your life experiences in your career journey might have sort of also taught you a lot of things and made you stronger, because you had to go through a lot more.
Yeah.
So would you want to change that, make it easy, or are you happy with the learning?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy.
Great.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I try to live life with no regrets.
Yeah.
And that part of having no regrets is trying to do your best every day. So every failure that I've had has taught me something, and if I would choose an easier path, I wouldn't have to learn it.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to learn it in the future anyway. So I'd rather have learned it already
Yeah.
and then go into the future.
Vihaan, now that you've done like a couple of projects. What is it really that you want to explore next? I don't know. I have this thing of giving free advice to people where I go and tell them that you should do this. For you, I feel that if you do like a full nice 2000 early 2000s type of rom-com, it would be great, like a safe pretty thing. But what do you want to explore?
Honestly, I was gonna say that as well. I want to explore
Oh,
like a
nice.
nice. I want to do like a nice rom com,
Yeah.
like a full out through and through rom
Yeah.
com. Maybe a bit more conversational.
Huh.
Maybe a bit more, like playing with the words.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of rom coms maybe they jump into physicality very soon, and
True.
I think there's a lot of courtship involved, which is interesting. Um, Apart from our 2000s rom-com,
Yeah.
I think I would like to do a biopic.
Oh, lovely.
It's a dream of mine to do that.
Do you have somebody in mind?
I do. I have a couple.
Okay.
Um, one being Nehru Saab.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
A couple of just big prominent political figures, I think. Then I want to do a sci-fi thing.
Oh,
I want to do a
nice.
sci-fi film.
Yeah.
I want to do a murder mystery, like a whodunit. I want to do a psychological thriller.
Yeah. Wow.
And I want to do a family drama.
Nice.
Classic dinner table, kitchen sink drama where
Yeah.
people are expressing their emotions like a play.
Yeah. Wow. You mentioned sci-fi, and I know Control wasn't like a sci-fi, but the concept was very, very unique, and I loved the movie, and it just kept me hooked. And that is what you want when you're watching the movie. I don't want to look at the watch and see kitna time baki hai. So it really got me, and I think it is one of your lesser talked about projects because it came just after Call Me Babe, so people also didn't, I think, get the time to notice these are two separate things. And because you and Aranya were together in both the projects, so that was thing. But I feel it was a really well made film, and I loved it. So that's there. But lastly, before I let you go, for us, Vihaan, you are the next big thing, and thank you so much for being on my show. But if I ask you, according to you, from the incredibly talented actors we have today, who do you think is the next big thing? Who would you name and why?
That's a good question. I've always been a big supporter of Adarsh Gaurav.
Yeah.
Lovely guy, amazing human being.
True.
Love him to death. I think Vishal Jetwa also deserves a lot of praise. I'm excited to see him in Homebound.
True.
And he's done amazing performances in the past. I can't remember the names, but the boys from Good Luck were
Good
lovely.
Luck, yeah.
So many lovely actors we work
So
with all the
sweet.
time.
Yeah.
Who else?
Anyone from the girls?
The girls from Lapata were lovely.
Lapata, oh yeah.
Nitanshi and Pratibha.
Pratibha, yeah.
They were lovely. We have a lot of great talent.
True.
Lots. And there's a lot to be seen. And I think this generation will be okay.
Yeah.
Everyone says ki, where are the actors?
Yeah.
There's no actors. But I think if you look, you'll find them.
That's true. I just missed one conversation that I wanted to have with you. We live in the world of social media, and there's so much written about actors, especially because everyone's obsessed with what they are doing, who they are seeing, and all of that. How do you balance that relationship with social media? And when there are things written about maybe your personal life that you don't prefer talking about, how do you tackle with that? Because I mean, we'll cut this part if you don't want it, but I saw a very uncomfortable video of you being interviewed where, people were trying to talk about a certain person, and I didn't appreciate that at all.
I respect you saying
that.
that.
Because I could see you were getting a little uncomfortable when you have to deal with such situations. How do you tackle it? Because in the end, I feel we only work for our work to be spoken about.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you bringing that up. I think it's, so I expect transparency when obviously I'm meeting someone and there's a context set to our meeting. But there might be ulterior motives, which is not necessarily okay, but expected, unfortunately. So you just try to some people try to do is to make you uncomfortable, and in that discomfort, they kind of point at that discomfort and say, "Look,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, that person is hiding." And I think what I try to do is say, like, no, set your boundaries firmly.
True.
Say this, and let the world see in front of the cameras that this was not something that we had discussed, and they're trying to pull a fast one, and let the silence speak for itself. Let the confidence speak for itself. That's what I know so far. And
Yeah.
if there is a better way, I encourage anyone watching this to please tell me. Um, I think there is. It's unfortunate. Maybe it's a symptom of audiences. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a market for people to talk about things other than work. Maybe they think it's more spicy. Maybe
Yeah.
they think it's more entertaining. Whatever it is the way it is, and you try to deal with it the best you can. But I respect you saying that.
No, because you handled it very nicely, and I feel we also, as a media fraternity, we should also be more careful about how we have a conversation with somebody. And so, trust me, so many people would love to see this conversation, which was all about work and how you reached where you reached.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I like discussing. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's what I love to talk about. But yeah, I hope they enjoyed this interview because
Yeah.
I enjoyed this one.
Lovely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. But thank you so much for joining in. All the very best for everything that you do in the future. And
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to see you in Mismatched.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
I
much.
hope I will make you happy.
Yes, you will. You will.
Hi, I'm Vihaan Samat and you're watching me on FPJ Show Biz.